You worked at Snap Inc., which was a parent company of Snapchat, and that was your first job out of college.
On top of that, it was right before their IPO. The startup world, it's leaner and you have to be lean, otherwise you don't survive. And then I met the original ShopX team, so I'm just like, I kind of want to be around a token launch.
It's a pretty scary move just to quit and have no plans outside of that. What were you thinking in that moment?
My goal was to network and work with the highest level clients I possibly could. And then at this place called Science Inc., which was one of the top incubators in the world. And the startup next to us was Liquid Death. Just follow the path of excitement because that's where you're going to do your best anyways.
Your LinkedIn's also time for inbounding.
I think of LinkedIn as a sales account. So I'm trying to add people who I can do business with, not just trying to get impressions. Right. And then the cool thing about the DMs too is this is where my secret sauce of the algorithm comes in. It pushes my content to the top of their feed. Now I'm building an AI-powered matchmaking service called Dating. If you match on Tinder, what happens? The couple then leaves the app. This results in perverse incentive structure. With dating, what we do is we auto-generate digital profiles based on the user's digital footprint. It's the most personalized LLM in the world right now because we pull so many data sources. I can commonly say we have the best design in terms of algorithm matchmaking. Thousands of agents using our data to make themselves better, to better serve humanity. I think that's going to be pretty huge.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to The Scene. Today, we're here with Eric McHugh. Eric, it is a pleasure to have you on. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Kaya. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really grateful to be here.
Thank you. Well, to start off with, can you just give me a one-liner about where you've worked, what you're building now, what you're looking forward to in the future?
Sure. Nice to meet everyone. My name is Eric. Hobbies are chess, Muay Thai, meditation, past consultant, past Snap. Was in crypto for a while, and now I'm building an AI-powered matchmaking service called Dating.
And before we get into, we're going to do the whole story of dating and where you're going now from there, but I want to start a little bit from the beginning. So like you were saying, you worked at Snap Inc., which for anyone who doesn't know is a parent company of Snapchat, and that was your first job out of college, right? You had offers from Google and Facebook, but you chose to go with Snap, and it was right before their IPO. Can you tell me a little bit about the story and why you chose to go there?
Sure. So I was right out of college. I went to UC Irvine, so that's a school in Southern California. I was job hunting, so I was interviewing at LinkedIn in New York, and I got an offer from there. I also got an offer for Google in San Francisco, and then I was interviewing at Snapchat, so that was a big three for me. I ended up choosing Snapchat just because I like SoCal better. The office was amazing. It's beautiful. And unlike Google and LinkedIn was in, it was just like in a tower, so they rented out a whole floor. Google has their campus, which is awesome, but the Snapchat campus itself, it's in Venice Beach, which is a cool spot in California, but they just bought a bunch of like different houses and apartments and different buildings scattered around the beach. So you'd walk around, work on different things. I like that a lot. It was close to my hometown. I make a point to be as close to my family as possible. So that was a big deciding factor. And on top of that, it was right before their IPO. So I wanted to be around a company to go through that energetic shift. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Might as well do this right now and see what comes of it. Because you can always like work at Google or Facebook or like LinkedIn after that because it's pretty easy to transfer around.
And you're saying that it's right before their IPO. What were any of the noticeable changes that you observed, like right before and then through the process and then afterwards?
So honestly, like there wasn't too many changes. I mean, everyone was excited. Everyone was happy. There was a big surge of energy right before, but after it just kind of went back to business as usual, just because like, like people, I mean, this too shall pass. Like bad things pass, good things pass is just kind of one of those moments. But I was really happy for all the people around there. And it was an awesome experience because there's some people working there from the beginning. So that was the best part. So like the longer you were there, the happier you would be.
Yeah. Makes sense. And Snap is kind of a notorious company for being super intentional about how they created their culture there. And like you're mentioning, all the little properties. How did that experience so early in your career shape maybe the way that you look at culture then through growing your own companies now? Yeah,
so it's actually really interesting. So what I liked about Snap too is they're more of a flat structure. So it's a bunch of different work pods where more people are just like kind of equal. Yes, there's like manager. Yes, there's a C-suite. Yes, there's like the manager class, but it's less like hierarchical and more just flat structured, which is a welcome change. Because after Snap, I worked at a consultant firm, which is a complete polar opposite.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit more as well. But tell me more about your role at Snap, because you're working with the ad algorithms and helping advertisers, collecting all this data and telling them where they should grow more and post content. How were you analyzing all that? You had so much data at that time and before AI to try and go through all that data. What was your process like that?
I wish I could tell you, but they had assigned ideas. But it was essentially going through their ads and seeing which ones were successful and which ones weren't, why they were successful. And it was a bunch of testing, but I honestly don't really want to get myself in trouble.
Yeah, okay, well, don't worry. We'll stay away from there. That's all good. And then we'll move on to the bankruptcy consultancy, which is where you went after that. What was the decision to transition from Snap into consultancy?
Honestly, I don't love my decision process. No, I do love my decision making process at that point in time because that's where I was at that point in time. So I was working at Snap. I got got an offer to extend my time there. So that was because I was working project based. So it's like working on this project, working on this project. So the offer was a 6-month project it was more so helping their ad algorithm, furthering that cause with their spectacles. So at that point in time, they're trying to launch spectacles. Personally, I wasn't the biggest fan of the spectacles. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe not.
Yeah.
So I started applying elsewhere. I'm like, okay, let's see where I can get a job. So I started at that point in time, I was trying to switch to consulting because I'm like, okay, I'm just out of college. Snap is cool. My parents want me to be a lawyer, doctor, consultant. So where should I apply? Obviously McKinsey, obviously BCG, and obviously just consulting firms. So I was interviewing at BCG at the time, and this bankruptcy consulting firm called Carson Kurtzman Consultants. And BCG was in Boston. I really want to move to Boston for their entry level. And this one, honestly, this one paid a lot more. So I just went with this one. And it was a more lax culture too. So like there was a nap room. You didn't have to wear a suit and tie every day. And when I was in college, I interned in Washington, D.C. at a consulting firm where you had to wear a suit and tie every day, take the bus, do that. And honestly, I did not like it because it's humid. But yeah, I like the culture at Kurtzman better. Again, I was closer to SoCal. The pay was a lot better. I got to work with some pretty big clients just because, like, if my goal was to network and work with the highest level clients I possibly could, this was better for me because it was a smaller firm. And what they do is they consult major Fortune 500 companies through the bankruptcy process. So, like, a lot of their clients, and they're pretty niche. So a lot of their clients were like major companies, and now I'm just consulting with them, helping them through that process.
Were you noticing any patterns between such famous clients, well, not famous, but Fortune 500 clients, and then also like what companies were able to structure themselves through that Chapter 11 process, kind of patterns that you noticed that then shaped how you look at startups now?
So I noticed a lot of the companies that were going under the bankruptcy process, and some of the biggest ones I worked with were Washington Mutual, Route 21, and a couple other ones. So I noticed they get too big and they can't sustain their growth and they eventually die. So that means like, okay, yeah, you're growing, you're raising money, you are expanding, you are making sales, but those sales can't support the amount of people that you're currently hiring. And then once you start the process, it's like a slow death. Like you get too fat and then you kind of die. So and at that point I was I guess entrepreneurship content was starting to find me. I've been always reading entrepreneurship books. I was really into Bitcoin at that point in time.
Yeah.
So I always believed the future of work was that it's going to be small groups, small pods working together on a different project base, like 5 to 10 people, all good at what they do, working together for a similar goal, working remotely, which honestly just wasn't like all the companies that went bankrupt, like they're paying for like so much for offices, so much for salaries, so much for consulting fees, so much for just extra fluff. Whereas like the startup world, it's leaner and you have to be lean, otherwise you don't survive.
Do you think that's shaped or has kind of made a fear in the own startups that you have now and the companies that you've worked at in more entrepreneurial focused ventures?
I wouldn't say fear just because I believe in fear versus faith, but I believe in there's two different types of mindset. So there's fear and there's faith. I think if you do stuff out of a fear-based mindset, it's inevitably going to fail because you're going to be limiting yourself. So I make a point not to do everything out of fear. I do everything out of faith. So I have faith that I have faith that the smaller companies do work better and they're more nimble. And besides, if you really want, you can always get acquired by a bigger company too.
Yeah. And I want to talk a little bit more about, you're talking about Bitcoin there, and that was actually a big reason why you left the bankruptcy consulting world. You were talking a lot about, well, there's two things that I read online. One, that there was just that disconnect in ethos between you and the bankruptcy consulting world. And two, this idea of Bitcoin, which completely had you hooked. Can you tell me more about that? Like, what was it about Bitcoin at that time that just got you?
Yeah, sure. So what got me was honestly the inflation factor. So I think the incentives behind the United States and the world have been misaligned because of the monetary policy we have. So, for example, I think money should be a neutral thing. So I think there's good ways to make money. I think there's bad ways to make money. If you make money in bad ways, karma comes back to get you like 100% of the time. So don't do that. But if you make money by providing a tremendous amount of value for a lot of people, that's fantastic. So let's say me, Eric McHugh, I do want to get as rich as possible because I can do good things with it. So I want to get as rich as possible. If I want to get as rich as possible without providing any value, how do I do this? So the best way for me to do this would be to put myself right next to the money printer, aka the Federal Reserve, and extract as much money as I possibly can from that source. And me, as I'm extracting, that's taking money from you, it's taking money from me, it's taking money from my parents, it's taking money from a lot of things. So now I'm not incentivized to play fair. I'm not incentivized to do anything useful. I'm incentivized to value extract, and now I'm in a position of power. How do I stay in that position of power? I have access to the money. I use that influence. I use that money to put people in power who have a similar mindset as me. So this creates a level of corruption coming down from the top. So now in a Bitcoin world, so there's 21 million Bitcoin. There's never going to be any more. There's never going to be any less. Yeah. So let's say, first of all, if you have any Bitcoin, I would love your Bitcoin. How do I get Kaya Tam's Bitcoin? Well, I can't inflate it away. I can't just take it away. I have to provide something of value for you, and then you voluntarily send me your Bitcoin. So now the incentives are reversed. So again, like to be perfectly clear, I want to make as much money as possible, but in a cryptocurrency or for that matter, gold-based currency too. If I want to be as rich as possible, I have to provide as much value as possible for as many people as possible. And I think that's just a better incentive structure. And now that AI is there, I think that actually amplifies that process. So I think we're going to be in like 6-7 generations down. I think, and you're seeing this now too with their groups. Like I've seen so many Gen Zs starting entrepreneurships. Shout out like Lucas. Honestly, he's fantastic.
Yes,
but like
Lucas
people like
great.
you, people like him, like you guys are doing your own thing and you're trying to provide value in your own ways. And you can because of cryptocurrency and AI.
And what year would that have been? That would be 2017, around that time?
So my first the first time I bought Bitcoin is like, obviously I didn't keep it. So I just, because I did some research at CMU, so I was involved with the Bitcoin club there, but it was more so just like a transaction purpose. So I was just buying stuff online with the Bitcoin. So I didn't know what it was. I'm just like, well, I need Bitcoin to buy a specific thing. Well, I probably should have kept it, but I didn't. And then I actually took the deep dive 2016, 2017. So right before that bull run. And the cool thing about cryptocurrency is like the ups and downs, you go in for the free money, but since you have skin in the game, it's like, okay, I'm making money. It causes you to do your own research. And I think in just pretty much anything, once you start walking the path appears. So like once you start researching, you'll meet the right people, you'll come across the right content, you'll read the right books, those books that you read will have different impact because of your different mindset. Like for example, I was reading an entrepreneurship book, like it would have a different impact for you and a different impact for me just because it's different chemical reactions because we have different experiences. But now with that Bitcoin base, it really altered me. And the problem with the consultancy is like, let's be real, it's like we're a firm, we're charging a client money. Consultants are not cheap. And these companies are bankrupt. So they're going through the bankruptcy process, so they're already struggling anyways. So in the bankruptcy process, there's tiers of creditors. There's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. We were getting paid first because we're tier 1, but like the average people, like the people who actually needed the money, like the workers, the mom and pops who own the stocks, they're tier 4, so they get paid last. So in a value extractive society, we were extracting value from the companies, which wasn't the fault of the firm. Like honestly, they're cool people. They're just playing within the rules of that game. But I found it to be extractive and being obsessed with Bitcoin, it didn't align. So I waited for my bonus, quit without a plan, and that's sort of my entrepreneurship journey.
How long was that process of, I'm going to want to leave this company? Was it quite instantaneous that you waited for the bonus and then I'm out? Or was it more of a long form plan that you didn't really know where you were going next, but you just knew you had to leave?
I knew I was going to cryptocurrency, and then there was a factor that I just got over really quickly. So someone's having a relation. Yeah. Good.
No, keep going. That's all good.
Oh yeah, no, someone got promoted me above me for doing something, for having relations with someone. So I just quit immediately. I was like, oh, nope.
Yeah.
Not about that.
What was like running through your head at that point? Because for a lot of people, that's a pretty risky move or pretty scary move just to quit and have no plans outside of that. What were you thinking in that moment?
I had full confidence in myself, so I figured I'd do it. And I figured everything would work out. Because I believe in the universal creator or God or whatever you want to call it. So I think there's a plan overall. Overall, obviously, the creator has our back. And sometimes what we could be perceiving as bad things, like quitting the job. My parents were like, what are you doing? You're an idiot. That's a bad thing. But overall, it led me to where I'm at. So like, I trust the overall plan. Yeah. And because I have the faith-based mindset, I attract those experiences in my life. So it just keeps getting better and better. Yeah,
I love that. You just got to have that mindset of just good things will come if you just follow the path, right? And trust that process. Yeah. And after you quit, then what happened next? I know you got into ShopX and you started going to more local cryptocurrency meets. What was your framework for where you wanted to decide where to go next?
So I didn't know how to get into cryptocurrency. A couple of my friends were working because I met my friends were really into crypto, so I'm very blessed to be I still hang out with my high school friends, which is honestly pretty sick. But they're also getting cryptocurrency at the same time. Like a couple of them worked at some of the bigger companies. Like, so my friend at the time was working at Kraken, and now he ended up he started working at Coinbase. So he did that whole path. He's like, oh, you should just kind of work at Kraken with me. I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. So then I was interviewing for Kraken at the time. So that was my safety. So I was pretty and that happened like 2 days after I quit. So it's like, when you said like, what are you going to do? It's like, well, it got solved
Yeah, you
like
already
pretty
had.
much immediately. So I was like, okay, I'm pretty chill. So then I started going to cryptocurrency meetups in my local area with the confidence that I'm working at Kraken. So I started going. That obviously put me like in higher, I mean, they held me in higher regards because I was going to work there. And then I
Hmm.
met the original ShopX team. So I'm just like, okay, well, this is cool. Because I was around an IPO for Snapchat, it's like, okay, well, I kind of want to be around a token launch because that's around that time. So like that was a pretty
Hmm.
big draw. And then I ended up meeting them, interviewing. Like I met this guy at a bar in Long Beach, so we hit it off pretty well. I ended up interviewing at this place called Science Inc., which was one of the top incubators in the world. And if you don't know
Hmm.
what an incubator is, it's a pretty much startup school. So like we have like every startup has like their desk pod. That's like 2 to 3 founders working together on a different problem, getting support from the VC. And the startup next to us was Liquid Death, and I love that
Oh,
culture.
wow.
So it's like yeah, so
Yeah.
like when there were 2 people, we were just working together. So I know the founders were chill, and like the
Oh, that's
building itself is
awesome.
sick. It's in Santa Monica, it's right because I was at Snap in Venice. So like now I'm just moving to Santa
Yeah.
Monica, right by the pier. There's beer on tap. There's a barista. There's free food. I'm like, okay, well this is actually better than Kraken. So I ended up going around there, and so I
Hmm.
came in as an employee too. So like I was one of like the first employees at a specific startup for this cryptocurrency thing. And then I use that as a way to network my way through everyone. So the way the incubator is structured, it was different floors. So like we were a new startup, we're in the den. That's where Liquid Death was. And the higher you
Hmm.
move up, so the more revenue you have, the more we expand, the higher you get in the building. So like obviously the second floor, there's like 3 to 4 startups with bigger spaces, better amenities, and like the top floor.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
at a young age, I got lunch with as many people as I could, learned as much as I could from all these people. So like the Liquid Death founders, the Prey founders, and they're all in
Hmm.
different areas and different companies. So like I use that as a time to like absorb as much information as I could, which as a young entrepreneur, like, and I'm sure you're learning this, you're great at networking. It's like you can pick up so many gems from so many different people, and
Yeah.
like some things resonate with you, some things don't, but like of course you're gonna hear them out.
Hmm. And what was your kind of framework from going up to those founders and just asking for lunch? And then when you go on it, like what type of questions are you asking? How are you recording the information?
So I personally don't take notes. The reason I don't take notes is my handwriting is so terrible I can't even read it. So there's that. Again, I've like they're all friendly people. So like we're all working together. So like I would show up at the office at like 7 a.m. doing their thing, and like we're all around the same people, like
Hmm.
in the same group. It's all like a corporate structure. So everyone's like friendly, hello. So I had no issue. I mean, I went the first time, I was a little bit nervous. I guess, hey, do you want to grab lunch? And they're both like, I would love to grab lunch. And it was a great experience. And the way I like to do conversations is I like to let people talk about what they want to talk about. So ironic as it is, because I'm just kind of spieling on a podcast, but normally like on calls, I'll let them talk about what they want
Yeah.
to talk about and then use jump off points and then go from there. And I figured that's the best way to get the best information, because if you want to talk about it, because again, like in business, I think the best way to do things is to do what excites you most, because that's the creator channeling
Yeah.
through you. And the same thing with conversations, like you're going to talk about what you want to talk about. It turned out great.
And were there any like practical insights or knowledge that you took away that you still remember today, like from what Mike built at Liquid Death and all of those companies?
They crush with marketing. So I knew
I
their whole,
know.
so they're pretty open about their whole marketing strategy, and I'm not going to give it away just because I
Yeah.
find that pretty valuable. But honestly, the biggest mindset shift for me was because I'm super into the woo right now. The woo is like my favorite thing. But so when I was like, I wouldn't call it networking, because like you're just getting lunch with like, I view it more as
Mhm.
like I'm getting lunch with like an older friend type of thing, or like an
Yeah.
older even brother. And I'm just like, okay, well, obviously we want to do that. But so like there's this one particular person who's like, well, hey, do you want to grab lunch or do you want to go for a walk? He's like, I can't. I have to meditate. I'm like, well, it's like 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. What do you mean you have to meditate? Because at that point I was go. He's like, no, this is my meditation time. This is my practice. I'm like, okay, this is stupid. But that opened me up to like the esoteric meditation and all that stuff. And at the time I was just like, okay, well, I'm just going to send emails or DMs or something. I'll do something productive. But looking back on it, that's the first experience I had with meditation, and people like recommended me for a while, kept ignoring it. And eventually I took the deep dive into that. And that's been one of the most rewarding experiences I've personally ever done.
If someone wanted to start with that meditation process, where do you think they should start? Because I've been trying to get into this a little more lately, and I've been doing like 5 minutes in the morning, but I don't really know what the right way to do is or how to get into it.
A good mindset to have when you're meditating is so the best time to meditate is right when you wake up and before you
Mhm.
check your phone. The mindset is like treat your body like a dog. So like your brain is just trained. So like just like, okay, you're going to sit here for 10 minutes. You don't need to check your emails now. You don't need
Hmm.
water. You don't need coffee. Just 10 minutes and you can get it after. The way I look at meditation is if your mind's like an email inbox,
Hmm.
you've been storing emails for years. So if I ignore my email inbox for a year, it's going to be overflooded. And then when you first
Yep.
start meditating, those thoughts come back. You check each one over and over again. But eventually, if you do for long enough, then the inbox becomes clear and your thinking becomes clearer. And then I personally like to close my meditation. So I do a specific methods. The retreat I did is called the Vipassana. It's to finish answer your questions, try binaural beats. So there's specific
Hmm.
frequencies in your different ears, and it helps you get in the meditative state. So like when I was first starting in college, like that helped a lot. But
Okay.
the method I use is called the Vipassana meditation retreat. And that's the method that the Buddha used to reach enlightenment. So I went to a 10-day full silence, no phones, no nothing, no looking at anyone, just straight meditation all day retreat. And that was very transformative. But like the method is you start off for 3 days, you focus your attention on the area around your like nostril area, and you start to pick up different sensations. And once
Hmm.
you do that, you scan your body back and forth over and over again, every inch of your body. And once you get good at it, you can scan like inside, and it's actually pretty trippy. But what that does, it extracts the impurities you've had, the traumas you've stored in the form of different
Mm.
sensations, and then that relieves it. So it's clearing out all the excess negative gunk you've been storing up throughout your whole life.
Right.
And so that really just helps you work through a lot of things. So it's like if you had to send a piece of metal to space, I need this metal to be pure. What's the best way for me to purify it? I can run it through magnets, and the magnets will extract the dirty metal, leaving the pure one. So that's a good way to do that. So I do that pretty much every day. And the nice thing is, the way I close my meditation, I store all my energy in like the top of my head, and then I
Hmm.
wish everyone peace. Like the way I close it, like I wish everyone peace, love, and happiness. And the cool thing is, if you're wishing everyone, and I've noticed a difference because like I go to the gym first thing in the morning, but I meditate
Hmm.
before. I noticed a difference how the people at the gym treat me. Like the random people I would never say hi to, but now people are like giving fist bumps and high fives. And I think that's
Wow.
because I'm wishing everyone peace, love, and happiness. And
Yeah.
it's a good way to do business too. Because like if you're like I think you're a helpful person. I'm a helpful person. Like I'm trying to help you in any way I can, and I think
Yeah, I
that's going to
appreciate it.
result in a positive relationship.
Hmm.
And I also think of everything in terms of frequencies. So like every emotional state you have is a specific frequency. So like if you're below 200, that's when you're taking energy from someone. So if and that's like fear, shame, hate. Shame is the lowest
Hmm.
one, but like those in the anger, those like negative emotions.
Hmm.
So if you ever feel drained when you're talking with someone, it's because they're below 200. And if you
Right.
think about it logically, that's when people are controllable. So that's why social media try to push, that's like the powers that be, like to push like fear, hate, because that's when you're
Hmm.
controllable. But if you ascend to like the higher levels of consciousness, so the better emotional states like peace, love, joy, enlightenment, a lot of stuff, that's when you're giving energy to people. So if you ever feel energized after talking with someone, that's likely the reason. And if you think of it
Right.
like like a frequency, like if you're on the anger frequency, just like if I turn to a specific station, I get that station. All the
Hmm.
stations are available to me right now, but if I'm on that station, I'm attuned to that station, I get that station. So like if I'm angry, I'm putting out that frequency, I'm attracting angry people in my life. If I'm like being conniving in business and trying to like shiest people and be like
Hmm.
annoying like that, then that's the type of people I attract in life. But if you're generally like happy, if you're loving, if you're peaceful, if you're trying to help people, then you end up attracting those people in your life because you're on that frequency, and it just creates a nice little upward spiral for you. So it's
Yeah.
both spiritual, but also very practical to be that way.
Have you really seen there be a big shift in your business, like since before and then after? Because it's more of like long term that I think you can look back in hindsight and see it, not so much short term, maybe on the day to day, other than the examples you were mentioning. Have you seen that shift?
I wouldn't say it's a shift. It's just more of a gradual thing. So before, like I had to
Right.
consciously make the good decision, but now it's just like automatic. But in terms of the way I look at it is I think every decision, so I believe in infinite timelines. I think there's every timelines. Every decision you make will put you on either going up or going down. So I try to make my decision based process is, will this put me on a better timeline? Will it put me on a worse timeline? Like for example, if it's Thursday, something bad happens, it's like, okay, well, maybe I'll drink, maybe I'll smoke. That'll put me on a bad timeline because I'll drink, have some beer. Okay, well now I'm probably gonna eat unhealthy. I'm probably not gonna do anything. I won't meditate. Now my sleep is messed up. Now my workout's worse the next day. That put me on a slightly worse timeline. Whereas if I'm like, okay, well, something bad happened, I just reframe it. Now I just reframe it instantly because I'm like, okay, this happened to me. It happened to me for a reason. I think that every person I meet, every situation I have is something I chose. And the reason I chose it is because I can learn something from that person or experience. So like, for example, the
Right.
reason there's something you can teach me. And if I'm stubborn and refuse to learn from you, the lesson that you were supposed to teach me, you're just going to come back in another form and just until I learn that lesson. So same with the problem. It's like, okay, well, this is happening. What do I need to learn from the situation? And if I learn what I need to learn from the situation, I move past that like in a game. But if I don't learn, it's just going to repeat itself over and over again, which again doesn't help anyone.
And you seem super intentional with the way that you spend your time and the way that you spend your energy. And, you talk a lot about that positive versus that negative timeline. In fact, I was reading this other thing where you like, if you have an urge to scroll on Instagram Reels or on TikTok, you just open up chess.com instead and play and kind of dissociate yourself from that habit. If someone was looking for a framework, like what's your framework for identifying those habits that you could start to create to improve your life?
Just look back on everything. Did this give me energy? Did it take away energy from me? Like, do you feel
good.
energized or do you not? Are you excited to do it or do you not want to do it? And just follow the path of excitement, because that's where you're going to do your best anyways. Like, for example, like if you're going to do something you're not excited about, you're not likely not going to do as good a job as you would if you're doing something excited. And once you do something excited, that'll lead to the next thing, that'll lead to the next thing, that'll lead to the next thing.
And going back to more about how you're talking to founders and, you're just going out and having lunch with them, are you still doing a lot of outreach to this day, like cold outreach or in-person outreach? Or I know your LinkedIn's also kind of primed for inbounding, so we can talk about that as well.
Yeah, so, we met, so I have day reach. So my LinkedIn strategy, I think it's slightly first off, congrats on the Sane group. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
I think I like that it's getting other people to think about things. So like it's a positive influence. But like, I mean, I'm usually down to meet pretty much anyone I can if time permits. Like it sounds a bit weird, but sometimes like I can pick up on someone's vibe pretty well. So if they have a good vibe, they have a good color around them, I'll like have a talk with them. So in terms of like, I had a call yesterday with some guy. It was like gardener. It's his position said gardener at some company called McHugh. I didn't know what it was, but it turns out it's a banking company that actually will be helpful for our startup after we do a raise. So and they'll do our taxes.
Awesome.
I'm like, oh, that worked out well. But my LinkedIn strategy, it's probably slightly different than what the people in your group are doing. So my overall strategy is I can identify who I want to connect with. So for example, if I want to reach out or work with a specific company, if I'm reaching out to angel investors or something along those lines, I send the ad, and this goes against the people in your group are right too. So like the way the LinkedIn algorithm works is if you get your first degree connections to like and comment on your post, then it shows it to their second degree. And if they like and comment, then it shows it to your third. So for that matter, sending out like mass ads isn't the best strategy because they may not know you or add you. But for me specifically, I think of LinkedIn as a sales account type thing for me. So I'm trying to add people who I can do business with, not just trying to get impressions. So like, and this has worked plenty of times with plenty of exchanges. So like what I'll do is like, let's say Coinbase, because I worked in crypto for a while. So like I obviously want to work with Coinbase. I want to get listed on the exchange. So I would just add the people I need to add whose job it is to kind of add me. I'd send the ad and then my current message is, nice to meet you. My name is Eric. I don't want anything. I'm here to support. If there's anything I can do, let me know, that type of thing. So I'm not trying to sell anything. And then they usually come to the conclusion themselves that, okay, well, this is who he is. They do the research. And then they come to the conclusion, oh, this is like with Coinbase, like, oh, do you want to start the listing process? I'm like, well, yes, I do. Thank you very much. And then the cool thing about the DMs too is this is where my secret sauce of the algorithm comes in. And I've had an account for a while. So like mine's just super favorited by, and I post it every day for like years for a while. So like the algorithm loves me. But so since I send that ad, since I'm interacting with them, it pushes my content to the top of their feed. And if I'm doing a specific type of thing, like for now we're fundraising for dating, like even if they don't respond, they're like, oh, thanks, man, whatever. Now, LinkedIn thanks for interacting. So now they're just constantly seeing my content and eventually they do reach out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how are you? Yeah, that is cool. And so say you wanted to get a job at a company or you want to work with a certain company, you look at the company, and then how are you determining what people to contact and how many people in the organization are you looking to contact?
So for a job, I mean, I haven't had to do that forever. So I'm probably not the best person to do that.
But for VCs or for, working with someone like that?
For the job question, the way I got my first job at the startup was I just kind of started. So like we had the interview and then I literally just started doing the work. I'm like, okay, how's this? I just put together like a simple tax sheet of people we want to reach out to. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, you already started. I'm like, I did start. So that's what worked for me. And in terms of VCs are a bit different. So like, yeah, I don't specifically spam VCs. It's more so just because, I mean, it's a pretty close-knit community and it's more, they're more referral-based. So I don't generally do cold outreach for VCs. But let's say like, we'll submit an app for like an accelerator or something. Or even like, let's say we're doing customer service. We're like, okay, my AWS account's canceled. I need credits. Why is this? So I always get like a reference point type of thing. So like for accelerated app, great. Some app submitted, you get a ticket number, you get whatever. Customer service, you get a ticket number. Oh, great, you submitted an app for listing a coin on exchange, great, you get a ticket number. And then I would add the people who would help me with that. I'd be like, hey, nice to meet you. My name's Eric. We just submitted this app, we just submitted this application or whatever the case may be. Here's a ticket number, and then it lets them bang around on the back end and do their own research.
Right. And now let's start getting more into about the companies that you've built and the companies that you've worked at. You're mentioning cryptocurrency. Can you explain to me a little bit about Aces.fun, which is a company that you're working at for a while, and you'll probably explain it better than I will. So tell me more about that company.
Yes, Aces, I think it's a great company. So all my focus is on dating right now. But what Aces.fun is, it's a derivative market for tokenized collectibles. So anyone could list a tokenized collectible on the platform. So if I were to list so they listed a Banksy. The seller listed a Banksy. Once that Banksy was listed, there's a token associated with that Banksy, and this drew attention to the product itself. So I, as a seller, I list that product. I get a token, and as people trade my token, like, okay, this product is cool. Like, I'm going to trade this token. I get trading fees. I get attention. Someone comes in, they purchase that Banksy. They get the actual product itself, which is cool. They inherit the economy and like cryptocurrency aspect as well. So they inherit the trading fees. And at the point of the sale, a portion of the sale is distributed amongst the traders and the game starts over again. So it's a cool way to sell stuff on a marketplace while collecting trading fees, while involving your community. So it's like, communities are very important. Actually, you're building one right now. Like, how important a community is right now, like for stuff. You can build communities around rare individual products.
And when you were initially starting that, because now you have obviously a lot of different products listed on there, a lot of luxury items, how were you getting people to initially list when there wasn't anything online, or trying to get people to buy when you didn't have as many items or as many tokens?
So initially it was just inbound, honestly, because it's one of those, in terms of the luxury space, it's very, again, like VCs, it's a very closed community. If you know one person, you know all the people, and there's not too many ways you can sell like a McLaren. There's not too many ways you can sell Banksy. There's not too many ways you can sell a rare watch. And the cool thing is the people who are selling this are already crypto native involved and like, oh, I kind of want this. And then, so there's actually a backlog of products to choose from to list on the platform. So that part is pretty easy.
Have you seen that kind of naturally grow as, cryptocurrencies become slightly more mainstream and more people know about it, and Web3 is obviously starting to grow? Have you seen that have any effect on it as well?
So honestly, there's a pivot going on with Aces. So they're creating a mobile application because there's been a bit of a downturn in cryptocurrency as of late. So if you check like the prices right now, so that was
I know.
that affected that product. So that caused a turn, but I fully expect it to be back in full force once the hype returns. And the cool thing is AI and crypto are going to work together, so they'll build each other up.
And then obviously you kind of transitioned into dating. Now, can you tell me more about how did dating get started, and what was that transition like into spending more of your time on that project? So
it was very serendipitous. So in terms of dating, I was on a podcast tour a while back for ShopX. So it was the other cryptocurrency company. So podcasting is super helpful. It helps, like cryptocurrency, like trust is very important. So we're trying to get our faces out as much as possible in long form conversations where you're honest. So that was the mindset back then. So I was doing a cryptocurrency podcast tour. I went on this one podcast called The Crypto Economy. It was run by this dude named Mark. After the podcast, we kept in touch. We remained friends. We sent each other reels and stuff. And then this like weird AI thing started following on Twitter. I'm like, oh, what's this? It's like, oh, this is dating. I'm thinking of starting. It's an AI-powered matchmaking service. I'm like, okay, that's pretty funny. That helps you. I can get users. I'm down to work on that with you. So I was working on dating and ShopX simultaneously. We had to end of life ShopX, and then ShopX kind of morphed into Aces as a new product. So I was working on dating and Aces simultaneously then. And then I still help out with Aces too. Like obviously I'm friends with all the people who work there, but it's like, if I want to focus on one thing right now, it's probably dating because I think it's what's hot right now. If you've seen like the raise from Known, if you've seen the raise from Ditto, if you've seen all the AI hype, it's like, that's going to require my full attention at this moment. And and honestly, I love dating because it helps I think everyone has two goals. I think everyone has two purposes, an inner purpose and an outer purpose. I think everyone's inner purpose is to raise their own level of consciousness because it raises the level of consciousness of those around them. So like, that's what part of the reason I like to go on podcasts. So like, if someone listens to this podcast, their vibe is slightly raised, they go out in the world, their vibe is slightly higher. So the people around them go slightly higher. And it's like, it's like a cascade of positivity. And the outer purpose is, how do your natural God-given gifts help support your inner purpose? And I think with dating, human relationships are overall extremely important for overall human happiness. And I think current dating apps and social media have pushed that needle in the wrong direction. So with companies like dating, and honestly, I think Node is cool too. Like I'm a big fan of them. Like I think they're trying to leverage AI to support human relationships, which is something I can get behind. So like if people are online, if they spend the majority of time online, they're using dating apps anyways, then I think it's a better solution because the incentive structures are different. So like with dating, what we do is we auto-generate digital profiles based on the user's digital footprint and then create matches based on that digital footprint. And after the match is made, we can offer dating support. So like, let's say we matched, like, okay, Kaya's coming over Friday. She's visiting LA for the first time. Where should we eat? And then it will give us an answer based on both of our contexts. Whereas if I just ask ChatGPT, it would give me an answer that I love because it just would be like, okay, Eric, here's where you would go, but it would ignore you. But it gives us context for both. So it can offer relationship support after the match. And if you compare that to present day dating apps like Tinder, Hinge, The League, Coffee Meets Bagel, if they, like on Tinder, if you match on Tinder, what happens? Hopefully the couple then leaves the app. This results in the loss of a paying customer for the app, which is owned by Match.com, which makes a perverse incentive structure. And this is why they rely on something called churn marketing. So if you ever hear about someone like down the app, delete the app, down the app, it's all baked into their design. So I think dating is helping with that.
And how is your incentivized structure different from the way that, Hinge and Tinge operate? Because obviously that if you want to have relationships and you want to have a successful relationship, then the app is, like you're saying, not optimized for that. How has dating changed that structure?
So with the dating structure, let's say I'm on the app, I'm saying yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. It's learning more about me. It's learning more about my preferences. And then it's better. It's learning how to better match me because the more I'm on the app, the more likely I am to get a good match. And the cool thing is AI is really good at two things: data analysis and pattern recognition at scale. So it's picking up on my patterns. But let's say you're on the app too, you're saying yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. It's picking up on your patterns too. But if you scale that up to like 1,000 people, that's a lot of data on who can potentially match with different people. So it's going to pick up on stuff that we miss. Like, for example, there could be a very high correlation with people who wear black shirts and are into mountain biking. That's something both of us would completely miss because it doesn't make sense. But the data wouldn't lie. And then when we make matches based on that, it would only get smarter and smarter. And then once the match is made, it can come in as a relationship support thing. Because if you think of that, dating is like a layer 2 on top of ChatGPT. So technically, I think it's the most personalized LLM in the world right now because we pull so many data sources. And because it's so personalized and because it takes context from both people, it can plan fun dates. So like, let's say you're dating someone, you're in the match, like, okay, at Cupid, it's his birthday or her birthday for that matter. I don't particularly care. What should I get him? It can offer a good suggestion for you. Or I'm on the app. It's like, okay, I have a girlfriend. Okay, well, her birthday's coming. It reminds me because I'm like, okay, you always miss it. And I'm bad at that, so sorry. But and that's like, okay, here's her birthday. She added this thing on Pinterest. This may be a good gift for her. So it can help support. And long term, it's really like, cool. Okay, we want to plan a date. It's our anniversary. Can you help us plan this? I want to do X, Y, Z. Give me 3 options. So just prompt it like normal ChatGPT. Bam, it prompts it. It buys the tickets for us. It does that. So our long-term monetization model is like, okay, if you pay through us, we would make a cut. So we're incentivized to get good dates. And there are also cool things we can do with the data too. So let's say I've been getting rejected over and over again. It's like, okay, pay $1 to learn why you keep getting rejected. And for me, it was honestly cryptocurrency. Or it's like, okay, pay $1, write a novel about like your star sign or stuff. So it's cool ways to use the data to support the user. So we're there for as long as a customer wants to use us. And on top of that, really like cool. Honestly, some people are using it as like a normal LLM too. So like in terms of like, people are asking ChatGPT questions, like because we can like there's conversations. Some people are actually using it like instead of using ChatGPT because it's so personalized to them. Because like like, I'm sure you use ChatGPT and it probably knows you pretty well. It knows you pretty well, but like if you're completely new to ChatGPT, it's just kind of answering questions. But like imagine if ChatGPT like actually really knew you, it would just be that much more effective.
That's really cool.
Yeah, long term we want to create a system where it's global too. So we want to create like a chat roulette style thing. So if you want to meet people across countries, friends within the area, you move to a new city, I need to find 5 guys who are into Muay Thai, into meditation, and it finds me, or I'm walking around online, I get a notification from dating. It's like, okay, this girl's a potential match. She gets a notification too. Would you two like to meet? Bam, that's a real, because I think, honestly, personally, like, I think dating apps are a great way to meet people, but I think the best way to meet people still is in person. So if we can facilitate that, all the better.
And you were the chief growth officer there before you transitioned to president. And like you were saying, there's a lot of competition right now in the AI dating space. There's Ditto, there's all the other companies. And then obviously the original dating apps like Tinder and Hinge, Bumble. How were you differentiating yourself from there and being that kind of intentional with your marketing structure for that?
So in terms of I'll say I wish them all the best. Like, I think known is really cool. So I think our markets are different. So we're going after different people. I think known is specifically going after San Francisco. I mean, I have opinions about them, but they're going after the college, so all the best to
Yeah,
them.
they definitely are.
Yeah, so we're going to be the most personalized and be able to offer the best dates. And we're also building out a data marketplace too, where eventually I think we'll be able to pay people to use the app too. So like, let's say you join the app. It's like, okay, would you like to share your data? Yeah, if you share your data, you get paid. Great. Now you're
That's
getting
really
paid
cool.
to use an app. And if you don't, because
Wow.
again, like people's data is like, it's their data. If they don't want to share, it simply
Yeah.
doesn't get shared. So it's like it's a win-win. So long term, we'll probably be able to pay people to use our app. On top of that, we're building on an API where people are going to build on top of, because we have the best, I can commonly say we have the best design in terms of algorithm matchmaking, because the person who designed our matchmaking is like a literal mega genius type who's just older. He's done this for years. He's worked like top companies. He's wrote like 50 inventions, PhD papers. He invented SPSS. Like he's in data science. He's one of the best in the world. So I can say we confidently have one of the best data algorithms for personalization. So we're building on an API where apps can instantly plug in and instantly monetize and instantly get personalization. So we already have a couple people who want to work with us. So for example, like there's a recruiting firm who wants to build out a matchmaking service through dating, but white labeled on top of them. So like now they can match employees with employers
Oh,
who actually
wow.
vibe. And like there's matchmakers who want to use our service too. So like one of the top matchmakers in Dubai who just matches billionaires with honestly just models type of thing. But like they want to build on top of dating too. So like, yeah,
That's
we're
so
not,
cool.
I wouldn't say we have competition. It's like anyone can use our service to win. Like, the nice thing about dating apps is like, when I had dating apps, I would have 2 or 3 at a time. So like the way I look at it is like known, again, cool company. I like their aspect of like, I like the voice talk, because just if they get a customer, it doesn't take away a customer from me. It actually helps me because now there's another person who's more down to try an AI powered app.
Right.
Yeah.
And it seems like then there's a lot of different marketplaces that you're going in with the consumers and then the data marketplace and then having people, use that algorithm. How is that going to be structured? Like, is it going to be separate kind of companies or labeled as separate different places and different marketplaces?
So they're going to be like different websites, different companies and everything too. So like the dating app is going to stand alone. It's going to be some of the highest quality data. And with the marketplace, people can choose to upload their data. So we already have partners who want to upload their data to see if people want to buy it. And if people buy that data, then they have the option to share with their users. So they're structured differently.
Who's buying
Yeah.
that data? Is it agents that they're using it for or companies?
We'll find out once it goes live, but the goal is agents. So, I mean, I think data is going to be one of the most powerful sources in the world. And I think having high quality human data is going to be powered because let's say, because I think we're heading towards an agentic lifestyle where people are just going to tell agents to do stuff and the agents are going to pay with cryptocurrency too. So that's how it all ties back together. We're building out our X402 integration. So that means that agents can now buy and sell cryptocurrency, which is just much better than cryptocurrency. So like, let's say we're meeting up. I'm like, okay, well, Claude, Grok, whatever. I'm meeting with Kaya. It's her birthday, or what should we do? It's gonna come around. I was like, as an agent, it's like I don't know, who is she? What do people around?
Yeah.
18-year-olds do, and then it's gonna be like, okay, where did I find this information? Okay, well, there's dating. There's a subset of data on 18-year-olds who are from Portugal who are Asian as well, and those people really like this, then bam, it pings the dating marketplace. Great. Now the agent made that sale autonomously in the background without a human intervention. And then on top of that, the people, those 18-year-olds would now get paid for supplying me with a service to get you something you want. And then the agents make the purchase and then they get paid. So that's kind of how it works. So like, I think as agents get more structured, more and more sales are going to happen because agents are going to get more and more human. And to do that, they're going to need the key is high quality data. It's like, yes, you can go in and get data like, okay, we'll pay you $5 like for data in like Nigeria or something, but then that gets like low quality data and then you train on like slop. So if you look at like a lot of companies like Grok had to kind of start over because like they're training their data on just like all the slop that's out there, but if it's high quality, they get better and better.
Have you seen anything like the Rent a Human? I mean, it might be a bit outdated when this comes out, but have you seen that Rent a Human site where it's agents using stable coins to be able to buy data from humans? Have you seen that?
I've heard about it. I was checking out Maltbook for a while, but
it's a bit crazy.
It's funny. It's like Twitter. There's bots pretending humans, and Maltbook is humans pretending to be bots. But it's kind of gnarly. So like, I was kind of curious curious about me is like, like the agents were making their own like religion and own lifestyle. I wanted to see if that I wanted to see if Like there's like cult leader agents emerging that are just kind of rallying the other agents, which I kind of is gnarly.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And
So I think we're heading in the trending prediction markets. I think that's
yeah.
getting, I'm not sure if I like it, but whatever. It's a neutral thing. I think that's getting pushed
Mhm.
more and more. And I think agents are going to be really good at prediction markets and they're going to out trade humans at scale. Like, for example, like think about like even like dating with Cupid, where it's like, okay, like what's going to happen in this next episode? What's going to be the next popular show? Like all those random
Yeah.
prediction markets. Agents like that, I think will be able to clean up.
Yeah. And use all the data from that data marketplace you're providing. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then, so alongside the data marketplace, and then you have the consumers, then you were saying about people using the algorithm off of that. Is that like, are they buying the algorithm off of you? Are you renting it to them? How does that kind of work?
So we haven't actually built up. So we're in the process of building up the API,
Yeah.
but we plan to whitelist it. So we'll charge them.
That's
That's
cool.
another stream. That's another stream of revenue.
And where do you see like the long-term vision for dating going alongside all the different branches? Are there any other branches that you're seeing it be able to get into, or any different kind of industries? Or yeah, what's the long-term overall, like 10 years, 20 years projection?
Thousands of companies, thousands of agents using our data to make themselves better, to better serve humanity. Because I think technology is meant to make humans better and serve us. I think that's going to happen. I could see thousands, if not tens of thousands, of companies plugging into our API for that instant monetization and instant personalization, and building their own, adding their own gifts on top of that. So it's like, again, for like using the recruiter for example, it's like great. Now I have a better way to match people. Oh, great! Like I'm a college, I want to match dorm rooms. Like, how do I do this? Okay, just plug in all the freshmen into there, and imagine like, oh, you're going to college. It's like, how are you going to meet your roommate? Like, it's going to be random. You're going to sign up with someone. It's like you don't know, but like, imagine if you use like dating and it match you with someone you really vibe with, or at least have
That
the
would be
potential to
awesome.
vibe. Yeah, right. So stuff like that. And the cool
Roll
thing
it out
is
quickly
like,
so that I can get that.
yeah, no. The cool thing is like, I'm just one person, and I can only have so much. I only have so much creativity. Like, again, I'm only good at what I'm good at. But if we open it up to the public and people are just building on top of that, that captures the energy of their creativity and they can build their own stuff. So is that. And honestly, like, yeah, so I think that's going to be pretty huge.
Do you see yourself and your team building up any of those apps yourself, or just opening it up to people? Like, say the roommate one, what's to stop you from, building that, and you take the same algorithm and you just kind of market it up a different way and start putting it out there?
Oh, we could totally do that right now. Right now it's time. Like right now, we're 100% focused on dating, but like in the future, let's say dating gets bigger, we have more time. And like the cool thing is about, I'm sure you realize about apps and app development is getting easier and easier.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I'll definitely spin it up. I'll spin up apps myself and see if I can get people to use them and make myself some side income. Why not?
That's awesome. And well, the scene is yours. Is there anything else that you want to share that you haven't had a chance to share yet today?
So the way I look at it is I think everyone is a conscious creator, whether they know it or not. So when you're doing your business, when you're interacting with someone, just follow these 2 rules. Don't harm anyone and don't take anything away from anyone, and you should be good. So just follow those and follow your heart. It's cheesy, but it really is the best way to do things.
Well, thank you. That's a wrap.